Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's HOA story is wild. Let's get right into it.
The day started off like any normal travel morning. My friends and I were headed out on an early flight for a short vacation we'd been planning for months. I'm the type who likes to get to the airport early, check in without stress, and just coast through security. So there I was, rolling my trusty carry-on suitcase behind me, sipping a coffee, and laughing with my two friends about who was going to fall asleep on the plane first. We made our way into the security line, and I noticed something immediately. The airport was unusually busy. Lines were long, people were fidgeting with their tickets, kids were crying, the usual chaos you'd expect. But for me, that was fine. I had my boarding pass ready, my ID in hand, and my bag was perfectly within the airline's carry-on limit. I had traveled with this exact bag dozens of times, and it had never once caused me an issue. That's when it happened. Out of nowhere, a sharp, cutting voice pierced the hum of the line. "Excuse me! Excuse me! That bag is way too big. You can't bring that on board." At first, I didn't even think she was talking to me. I turned my head slightly and saw her. A middle-aged woman with short blonde hair, thick sunglasses perched unnecessarily on top of her head, even though we were inside, and an expression like she had just caught someone committing a crime. She was marching toward me with her finger pointed directly at my suitcase. My friends exchanged a look like, "Oh boy, here we go." I tried to stay calm and polite. "Ma'am, it's a carry-on. It fits the airline requirements." But Karen, and yes, she was the definition of a Karen, was just getting started. She put her hands on her hips and shook her head dramatically. No, I live in an HOA. I know the rules about order, about keeping things fair. That bag is a violation." I almost laughed. An HOA? I thought. What does a homeowners association have to do with airline luggage? But this woman was dead serious. People in line began turning their heads. A couple behind me actually chuckled, one guy whispering, "Here comes the bag police." I tried to brush it off. "It's fine, ma'am. Please, let's just move along." But Karen stepped right in front of me, blocking the security line. She threw out her arms like she was stopping a car. "No, you can't just sneak that through. It's oversized. I'm not letting this line move until someone addresses it." Her voice grew louder with every word, echoing across the checkpoint area. Parents pulled their kids closer, others rolled their eyes, and my friends just groaned. "Ignore her, man. Let's just keep going," one whispered. But ignoring Karen wasn't an option. She was fully committed to her performance. She leaned toward the TSA officer who was managing the line and yelled, "Officer, do your job! Stop this man! That bag is against the rules!" The TSA agent, who was just scanning tickets and IDs, looked up like he had been dragged into a play he didn't audition for. He gave me a quick glance, then eyed Karen. "Ma'am, please stay calm. We'll handle it." Karen wasn't calming down. Her voice rose another octave. "No, he's trying to cheat the system. People like him think the rules don't apply. I've seen this in my HOA for years. People bringing in the wrong trash cans, planting the wrong flowers, parking in the wrong spots. I won't stand for it here." By now, half the line was watching the show. Some people were smirking, others looked irritated. My friends were half hiding their faces, half holding back laughter. One of them whispered, "Bro, she's really comparing your suitcase to trash cans?" I tried once more, speaking firmly but politely. "Ma'am, this is the same bag I always use. It's standard size. Please let me through." Karen folded her arms, smirked, and shook her head like she had already won. "We'll see about that. You're not moving until someone measures it. And when they do, everyone here will know you tried to break the rules." I could feel the heat rising in my face. Not from guilt, but from the sheer ridiculousness of the situation. The line behind us had stalled completely. People sighed, checked their watches, and a few muttered, "Unbelievable." At that moment, I realized Karen wasn't just trying to enforce rules. She was enjoying the attention. She wanted to humiliate me in front of strangers, to play the hero of the airport. But little did she know, her attempt to play luggage police was about to backfire spectacularly. because right then, a TSA officer began walking over with a measuring sizer in his hand.
Can you believe that? She tried to drag me into her drama just because TSA stopped her bag. Classic Karen move. If she's going down, she wants to take everyone with her.
The moment the TSA officer asked Karen to step aside so they could take a closer look at her oversized bags, the atmosphere in the line shifted. You could feel the tension spike, like static before a storm. Karen's face turned beet red. "This is ridiculous!" she shrieked, her voice carrying across the terminal, heads turned from 3 lanes over. "You're harassing me over luggage while letting him—" She jabbed a finger at you. "Carry that suspicious-looking backpack without a word." You looked down at your backpack, which was ordinary by every measure. A navy blue travel pack, 1 water bottle clipped on the side, and a keychain dangling. You almost laughed. Instead, you calmly said, "It's a standard carry-on, Karen. Unlike yours." That was all it took. Karen's voice rose another octave. "Don't talk to me. You HOA violator. You probably break rules everywhere you go. I should have you reported for being a danger to this flight." The bystanders around you couldn't hold back. One man muttered, "Lady, it's just a bag." Another passenger chuckled under their breath. "She's losing it over Samsonite." Your friend Mark leaned close, whispering, "This is better than Netflix. Should I grab popcorn?" You shot him a look, fighting back a grin. Meanwhile, the TSA officer, clearly wishing they were anywhere else, remained professional. "Ma'am, this has nothing to do with him. Your luggage exceeds size regulations. You'll need to check it in or remove items until it fits the overhead bin requirements." But Karen wasn't hearing it. She was too far gone. "No! You don't understand. These are my essential items. I don't trust airlines. My bags stay with me. Do you know who I am? I'm the HOA president back home. I know how to enforce rules." At that, laughter rippled through the line. Someone in the back actually clapped sarcastically. "Wow, president of the HOA? Should we all salute?" Karen spun around, glaring daggers at the crowd, her finger shaking in rage. "You people don't respect authority. That's why neighborhoods fall apart." Your other friend, Lisa, couldn't resist chiming in, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Yeah, because what this airport really needs is more HOA rules. No running in the terminal, lawns trimmed to 2 inches, luggage color coordinated. Imagine the power trip." The officer cleared his throat, clearly trying to regain order. "Ma'am, please lower your voice. You're disrupting security operations." "Disrupting?" Karen gasped, clutching her pearls as though she'd been mortally wounded. "No, he's disrupting. That man and his little group are ganging up on me. This is harassment. I demand you search his bag right now." The officer sighed, giving you an apologetic look. "Sir, would you mind setting your backpack on the table for a quick scan, just so we can move forward?" You nodded. "No problem. Go ahead." You unzipped the bag in full view of everyone, pulling out the most harmless travel items imaginable. A laptop, a half-read paperback novel, a pack of gum, and a small bag of toiletries. The officer inspected them briefly, then waved you through. "All clear." Karen's jaw dropped. "What? That's it? You didn't even look properly. He could be hiding anything." "Ma'am," the officer said firmly, his patience thinning, "this passenger's bag is in compliance. Yours is not. If you refuse to cooperate, we'll have to involve airport security." The mention of security only fueled Karen's fire. She puffed herself up, trying to rally the crowd. "You see, they're targeting me because I stand up for rules. You'll all regret laughing when this plane crashes because of their negligence." That crossed a line. Gasps erupted from the bystanders, and suddenly the TSA officer's tone shifted from patience to authority. "Ma'am, that's enough. False claims about aircraft safety are a serious matter. Step aside now." Karen sputtered, her bluster faltering for the first time. I didn't mean..." But it was too late. 2 uniformed airport security officers were already making their way over, alerted by the commotion. You could see Karen's bravado draining as quickly as it had flared up, but she still tried one last jab. They're ganging up on me. I know my rights, she cried, clutching her oversized bag like a shield. One of the security officers stopped right in front of her. Ma'am, please come with us. We'll resolve this away from the line. Karen's voice cracked, wobbling between indignation and desperation. You can't. I paid for these tickets. I have important meetings, Lisa whispered to you. Yeah, probably a neighborhood watch bake sale. Mark chuckled so loudly this time that even the TSA officer cracked a faint smile. As Karen was escorted to the side, her bag still clutched against her chest, the tension in the line melted into relief. People began moving forward again, murmuring jokes under their breath. One man behind you said, "Thanks for keeping cool, buddy. Not sure I would have stayed that calm." You smiled, shrugging. I'm used to dealing with Karen types. They think rules apply only when it benefits them. The group chuckled as the line finally flowed forward. But as you glanced back, you caught Karen's wild eyes boring into you, promising this wasn't over. And from the way she was arguing with security, you knew. She was about to make this situation much worse for herself.
Bro, the gnomes took me out. Imagine throwing a tantrum on airport security over garden gnomes. That's a new level of entitlement.
Karen's shrill protest echoed through the terminal as the two airport security officers guided her toward a small cordoned-off area near the checkpoint. She clutched her oversized suitcase like it was her lifeline, muttering angrily about conspiracies and unjust harassment. The line behind you started moving again, but curiosity tugged at everyone. Heads craned, people whispered. This wasn't just travel anymore, it was live entertainment. Mark nudged you. Bro, we can't miss this. This is better than in-flight movies. Lisa smirked. Forget movies. This is like a live season finale. You chuckled under your breath, but you couldn't help glancing over too. Karen's energy hadn't dimmed one bit. If anything, she'd turned up the volume. This is illegal. I'm a law-abiding citizen. My HOA respects me, she cried, trying to appeal to the surrounding crowd. The senior security officer, a tall man with a calm but stern demeanor, remained unshaken. Ma'am, shouting about authority won't change the fact that your luggage exceeds limits. We need to inspect your bags. You can cooperate peacefully, or we'll have to take further measures. Karen's eyes darted wildly. She clutched the suitcase tighter, shaking her head furiously. No one touches my property. You'll damage it. You're all in on this. Him, them, the airline. She pointed toward you and your friends, voice cracking from sheer outrage. Lisa whispered, Wow, we're officially part of a government conspiracy now. Should we get badges? Mark nearly doubled over laughing, earning glares from a couple of passengers who clearly didn't want to encourage the chaos. The security officer stepped closer, his tone clipped. Ma'am, this is your last chance. Place the luggage on the table or we'll remove it for you. Karen's voice rose to a full-blown scream. Don't you dare! This bag has everything important to me. If you take it, you'll ruin my entire trip. Do you want that responsibility? The bystanders groaned, some rolling their eyes, others pulling out their phones. A young teenager whispered to his mom, Is she for real? Finally, the officer gave a short nod to his partner. Without hesitation, the second officer stepped forward and gently but firmly pried the suitcase from Karen's hands. No! Karen shrieked, lunging after it like a child losing a toy. But the officer held it steady and carried it to the inspection table. Her desperation took a wild turn. She threw her hands up dramatically, shouting, This is theft! You're stealing from me! Someone record this! Lawsuit incoming! Dozens of phones were already pointed at her. The officer methodically unzipped the suitcase. You, Mark, and Lisa leaned in just enough to catch a glimpse, as did nearly half the line. Out spilled the contents of Karen's essential items, and it wasn't what anyone expected. Dozens of HOA pamphlets, meeting agendas, binders labeled rules regulations, and, bizarrely, 2 miniature garden gnomes wrapped in bubble wrap. Lisa whispered, deadpan, Oh no, the gnomes. Think of the gnomes. You had to bite your lip to stop yourself from laughing. The officer's expression didn't change, though his brow raised slightly. Ma'am, these items are not prohibited, but this quantity of materials could have easily been checked. Karen lunged forward again, gesturing frantically. They're fragile. These documents prove my leadership. They're the foundation of my authority. If they get wrinkled, how will I maintain order in my neighborhood? At that, laughter rippled openly through the crowd. Even the TSA officer from earlier smirked while pretending to look busy. Karen's face twisted with indignation. Stop laughing! This isn't funny! You people don't understand responsibility! Mark leaned close, muttering, Imagine causing an airport meltdown over HOA paperwork. That's gotta be a world record. The senior officer zipped the suitcase back up and said firmly, Ma'am, you will need to check this bag. It cannot travel in the cabin due to its size. That is final. Karen's eyes widened in horror. Check it? Do you know what happens to checked luggage? They'll toss it around like trash. My gnomes will be destroyed. No, I won't allow it. This was the breaking point. The officer's voice hardened. Ma'am, refusal to comply will result in confiscation of your luggage and possible denial of boarding. Gasps rippled through the line. Denial of boarding. The words hit like a hammer. Karen's jaw worked silently, as if she couldn't comprehend what she'd just heard. Then, in a last-ditch effort, she spun back toward the crowd, hoping for sympathy. They're bullying me. Don't you all see it? This is unfair. But the crowd had no sympathy left. A man in a business suit said loudly, Lady, just check the bag so we can catch our flights. A mom with a toddler added, You're the only one making this hard. Lisa couldn't resist. Looks like the neighborhood isn't siding with you this time, Karen. Karen's face went scarlet. She turned back to the officers, her voice trembling with a mix of rage and fear. You can't do this to me. You'll regret it. Everyone here will regret it. But the officer didn't flinch. Sir, he said, turning to the baggage handler who had been waiting nearby, please take this bag to checked luggage. Karen let out a strangled cry as the handler rolled her suitcase away. No! Not my gnomes! Phones recorded every second. Passengers chuckled. And as Karen's luggage disappeared down the conveyor belt, it was clear her attempt at control had completely backfired. For the first time, Karen looked small, powerless in the middle of an airport where no one cared about her HOA title. And you had a feeling this story was only going to get crazier once the plane boarding began.
At this point, even the whole terminal is against her, with a business traveler and a mom with a toddler are both roasting you. Yeah, you have lost the crowd.
The gate area buzzed with the usual pre-boarding chaos, families wrangling kids, business travelers glued to laptops, and tired passengers just eager to sit down. But in the middle of it all, Karen sat perched on a chair like a queen without her throne, muttering furiously to anyone who'd listen. She took my luggage, Karen hissed at a woman beside her. Security stole it. My property. Can you believe it? The woman gave her a polite smile, then quickly pretended to check her phone. Nobody wanted to be dragged into the storm. You, Mark, and Lisa found seats a few rows away, trying to stay inconspicuous. But it was impossible to ignore Karen's voice. It carried like a megaphone. Mark leaned over, whispering, Think she'll make it onto the plane without another meltdown? Lisa snorted. Not a chance. Karen doesn't just quit. She escalates. Sure enough, when the gate agent picked up the intercom and began calling boarding groups, Karen sprang up as if the announcement was meant for her alone. Excuse me, she snapped, storming toward the podium. I have been gravely mistreated today, and I demand to be compensated with an upgrade. First class. Immediately. The gate agent, a composed woman who'd clearly seen it all, raised an eyebrow. Ma'am, if you'd like to request an upgrade, you'll need to speak with the customer service desk, but I can't offer that here. Karen slammed her boarding pass onto the counter. No! I won't be shuffled around like a common passenger. I deserve first class after what you people put me through. My HOA respects me, and so should you. A ripple of laughter spread through the boarding area. Someone whispered, Is she seriously bringing up her HOA again? The gate agent's voice sharpened. Ma'am, please step aside. You're holding up the boarding process. Karen puffed herself up, her voice ringing out for everyone to hear. I will not. If you don't upgrade me right now, I'll have every one of you reported. I know the rules, and I have the authority. Lisa muttered, Authority to water lawns and ban pink flamingos, maybe. You couldn't help smirking. The gate agent sighed, clearly at the end of her rope. Security, she called calmly into her radio. Karen's eyes widened. What? No, I didn't do anything wrong. They're the ones mistreating me. But the familiar pair of airport security officers from earlier appeared within seconds, walking with the kind of calm purpose that meant business. The crowd erupted in whispers. Not again, Karen groaned, backing away from the counter. You can't keep targeting me. This is harassment. The senior officer held up a hand. Ma'am, you disrupted the security line, refused to comply with baggage regulations, and now you're disrupting boarding. You've left us no choice. Karen's voice wobbled. No choice? You can't mean... You're being denied boarding, the officer said firmly. Gasps swept through the waiting passengers. Karen's jaw dropped like she'd been slapped. Denied? You can't deny me? I bought a ticket. Tickets don't override safety and order, the officer replied. You'll need to collect your checked baggage at the desk. Please come with us. Karen's face crumpled, bouncing between fury and desperation. She pointed at you, her voice shaking. This is his fault. He made me look bad. If it weren't for him... But her outburst only earned her more ridicule. Mark cupped his hands around his mouth and called out, Hey, Karen! Don't forget to water the neighborhood while you're grounded! Laughter exploded across the gate. Even the gate agent chuckled as she turned back to scanning boarding passes. Karen stamped her foot like a child. This isn't over! I'll file complaints! Lawsuits! You'll all regret this! But the officers were already escorting her down the terminal, her protests growing fainter with each step. Passengers clapped, actually clapped, as she was led away. Some even cheered. You, Lisa, and Mark exchanged glances. Lisa grinned. Did that just happen? Did we just witness Karen get banned from a flight? Mark shook his head, laughing. Man, I thought my trip was going to be boring. This is legendary. Finally, it was your group's turn to board. As you handed over your boarding pass, the gate agent gave you a knowing smile. Thank you for staying calm through all that. Believe me, we appreciate passengers like you. You smiled back. Happy to help. I just hope the flight's a little quieter without Karen. The agent chuckled. Trust me, it will be. As you walked down the jet bridge, you couldn't help but glance back one last time. Karen's seat would stay empty, her grand authority reduced to nothing more than an embarrassing spectacle caught on a dozen passengers' phones. And for once, the sky was free of HOA rules.
And just like that, Karen lost her bag, her dignity, and her flight. All because she couldn't follow one simple rule. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me for the next crazy HOA story.